In the modern digital age, humanity is quietly living inside two invisible worlds. These worlds are not made of land, rivers, or borders, but of data, opinions, friendships, arguments, dreams, and power. Stand as architects of these worlds. One built Facebook, a digital mirror of human relationships. The other reshaped Twitter, now called X, into a digital battlefield of ideas. The question is not simple: which is more necessary for humanity, Facebook or Twitter? To understand this, we must step into the story not as spectators, but as citizens of these platforms. Mark Zuckerberg did not create Facebook to change politics or control narratives. He created it to connect people. At least that was the original dream. A quiet college student at Harvard, Mark believed humans deeply desired connection. They wanted to be seen, known, remembered. Facebook grew not because it screamed, but because it whispered familiarity. Photos of birthdays, weddings, childhood memories, friendships rekindled after decades. Facebook became a digital home. Billions of people, especially in developing countries, Facebook is not an app, it is the internet itself. A farmer in rural Bangladesh checks Facebook to see his cousin's wedding photos. A mother in Brazil sells homemade food through Facebook groups. A small business owner in Nigeria builds an entire customer base through Facebook Marketplace. These people are not chasing trends or political debates. They're chasing stability, livelihood, and belonging. Facebook became essential because it integrates into daily life like electricity quiet. It's constant, unnoticed until it disappears. Elon Musk's Twitter, on the other hand, is loud, is restless. It thrives on tension. Twitter was never about family albums or friendly smiles. It was about now. What is happening this second? Who said what? Who is right? Who is wrong? Elon Musk did not invent Twitter, but he transformed its meaning. Under him, Twitter, rebranded as X, became a symbol of free speech absolutism. It promised a world where ideas fight openly, without filters, without fear. For journalists, activists, politicians, and thinkers, Twitter is oxygen. Revolutions have been organized there. Governments have been challenged there. Lies have been exposed and sometimes amplified there. Twitter does not comfort, it confronts. It does not hug, it provokes. That is exactly why it matters. But necessity is not measured by noise. It is measured by impact. Facebook single quotes as power lies in scale. Over 3 billion users live inside its ecosystem. That means Facebook shapes how humanity remembers itself. Its algorithms decide which memories resurface, which friendships fade, which stories matter. Critics argue this power is dangerous, and they are not wrong. Facebook has been accused of spreading misinformation, damaging mental health, and influencing elections. But even its critics rarely leave it completely. Why? Because leaving Facebook often means leaving people behind. Twitter's necessity lies in influence. A single tweet can move stock markets, crash reputations, or ignite global debates. Elon Musk himself uses Twitter as a direct extension of his mind. When he tweets, the world reacts. Twitter is not democratic in numbers, but aristocratic in attention. It is where elites talk to elites, and sometimes to everyone else. So which is more necessary? Imagine a world without Facebook. Families lose their easiest connection, small. Businesses lose free marketing. Communities fragment. The digital social fabric weakens. Life continues, but it becomes quieter, more isolated. Now imagine a world without Twitter. Politics slows down. Journalists lose a real-time pulse. Public debates move behind closed doors. Power becomes less visible, less challenged. Facebook feeds the social body. Twitter feeds the political mind. Mark Zuckerberg believes in structured systems. He trusts algorithms more than chaos. His Facebook is a controlled garden, sometimes too controlled. Elon Musk believes in raw expression. He trusts conflict to reveal truth. His Twitter is a wild arena, sometimes too wild. Both visions are flawed. Both are necessary. Facebook is needed for emotional continuity. It helps people remember who they are in relation to others. Twitter is needed for intellectual friction. It forces society to argue, rethink, and evolve. If humanity were a person, Facebook would be its heart, storing memories and relationships. Twitter would be its mouth, arguing, shouting, questioning the world. The danger is not choosing one over the other. The danger is forgetting their limits. Facebook without responsibility becomes manipulation. Twitter without moderation becomes chaos. Mark Zuckerberg wants to build the metaverse, a future where digital identity becomes permanent. Elon Musk wants to turn X into an everything app, merging finance, communication, and power. Both are racing toward control of the digital future. The real question is not which platform is more necessary, but which values we choose to protect while using them, because platforms do not shape humanity alone. Humanity shapes platforms, and in that truth, Facebook and Twitter are not enemies. They are reflections of who we are and who we might become. As time moved forward, Facebook and Twitter stopped being just platforms. They became forces, quietly shaping how societies think, behave, and even feel. The real difference between Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook and Elon Musk's Twitter is not technology, it is psychology. One understands human comfort. The other understands human conflict. Facebook studies the human need for validation. Likes, reactions, comments, shares is a small psychological reward. Mark Zuckerberg did not invent these instincts. He engineered around them. Facebook learned that people return not for information, but for recognition. A single like can brighten someone's day. A lack of engagement can quietly destroy confidence. Over time, Facebook became a machine that trains emotions. Teenagers grow up measuring self-worth in reactions. Adults measure success in visibility. Old friendships resurface not because of emotion, but because an algorithm decided to remind them. Facebook's power is subtle. It does not tell people what to think directly. It tells them what to feel. Twitter, by contrast, trains the mind to react. It rewards speed, sharpness, and outrage. On Twitter, the fastest thought wins, not the deepest. 1. Elon Musk understands this world well, thrives in chaos, in contradiction, in real-time debate. Twitter users are not there to relax. They are there to fight, defend, attack, explain, and dominate narratives. If Facebook is a slow river, Twitter is a storm. This difference changes societies. In countries with weak media systems, Facebook often becomes the primary news source. This is dangerous, but also unavoidable. People trust familiar faces more than unknown journalists. When misinformation spreads on Facebook, it spreads through trust. A lie shared by a friend feels safer than truth shared by a stranger. That is Facebook's greatest strength and its greatest risk. Twitter's misinformation spreads differently. It spreads through authority. Blue checks, viral threads, trending hashtags, these create the illusion of truth. On Twitter, people believe statements not because they trust the person, but because the crowd is loud. Elon Musk's decision to reshape verification changed this balance even more. Authority became something you could buy, not earn. This blurred the line between expertise and popularity, so which is more dangerous and which is more necessary? Facebook controls memory. Twitter controls momentum. A society without memory repeats mistakes. A society without momentum stagnators. Mark Zuckerberg has always tried to appear neutral, claims Facebook is a platform, not a publisher. But neutrality itself is a choice. When Facebook decides what not to remove, it makes a political decision. When it prioritizes engagement over truth, it shapes reality. Zuckerberg's silence often speaks louder than Musk's tweets. Elon Musk, on the other hand, is never silent. He inserts himself directly into discourse, tweets opinions, jokes, provocations. He believes transparency is better than secrecy if it creates chaos. Critics say Musk uses Twitter as a personal megaphone, influencing markets and public opinion irresponsibly. Supporters say he is honest in a dishonest world. Facebook hides power behind algorithms. Twitter displays power openly. For activists, Facebook is organizing. Twitter is mobilizing. A Facebook group plans a movement. Twitter hashtag ignites it. Both are needed. One builds the house, the other lights the fire. Psychologically, Facebook keeps people inside the past. Its memories on this day, archived photos. Facebook constantly pulls users backward. Twitter pushes users into the present, even the future. What's next? It's trending. What's breaking? It's difference. Affects mental health. Facebook can create envy and depression through comparison. Twitter can create anxiety and anger through constant conflict. One slowly drains joy, the other quickly burns nerves. Yet people keep returning. Why? Because Facebook gives identity. Twitter gives voice. A small-town person with no influence can build an identity on Facebook through community. The same person can gain a voice on Twitter through a single viral thought. Facebook says, "You belong." Twitter says, "Speak." Mark Zuckerberg wants to build a world where digital identity is persistent, avatars, profiles, timelines. Elon Musk wants a world where ideas move freely, even dangerously. These visions reflect their creators. Zuckerberg is cautious, controlled, system-focused. Musk is impulsive, expressive, risk-loving. When governments pressure Facebook, it negotiates. Quietly. When governments pressure Twitter, Musk argues publicly. Facebook seeks survival. Twitter seeks confrontation. So again, which is more necessary? For ordinary life, Facebook. For extraordinary change, Facebook sustains daily existence. Twitter disrupts it. The future may not belong to either completely. Younger generations already shift toward faster, more visual platforms. But the legacy of Facebook and Twitter is already written into history. Elections, revolutions, friendships, businesses, identities will have passed through these platforms. Humanity does not need one platform. It needs balance. Without Facebook, society forgets how to connect deeply. Without Twitter, society forgets how to question loudly. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are not just tech leaders. They are philosophers with code. Their platforms are arguments about what humanity should prioritize: harmony or truth, comfort or challenge, memory or momentum. And the story is far from over. As Facebook and Twitter matured, they stopped being social platforms and became political instruments, not because they wanted to, but because power always flows toward influence. Wherever human attention goes, power follows. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk may deny being political actors, but history does not care about intention-only impact. Facebook quietly became the most powerful political space ever created. Not a parliament, not a court, not a government, but more influential than all three combined. Political campaigns realized that Facebook could target emotions better than speeches ever could. Fear, hope, anger, pride. Facebook's data knew voters better than voters knew themselves. A political message on Facebook does not need to be loud. It only needs to be personal. One voter sees hope, another sees fear, another sees nostalgia. Same politician wears different faces for different people. This is not propaganda in the old sense. It is emotional customization. Mark Zuckerberg did not stand on stages shouting ideology, yet his platform allowed ideology to slip silently into people's homes. Twitter's politics are different. Twitter is not subtle. It is brutal. It is direct. It is public. Political leaders use Twitter to bypass journalists, institutions, and diplomacy. A single tweet can start diplomatic tension or calm it. Elon Musk understands this weapon well. By owning Twitter, he owns the loudest political microphone on Earth. On Twitter, politics is performance. Leaders do not explain policy. They perform. Confidence. They do not persuade slowly. They attack quickly. The platform rewards simplicity over complexity, outrage over nuance. Democracy becomes entertainment, and entertainment becomes power. So which is more dangerous? Facebook manipulates quietly. Twitter destabilizes openly. From an economic perspective, Facebook builds dependency. Businesses rely on Facebook ads. Media outlets depend on Facebook traffic. Influencers build careers on Facebook pages. When Facebook changes its algorithm, entire economies shake. Zuckerberg's power lies in silence. can destroy or elevate livelihoods without saying a word. Twitter's economy is influence-based. Very few make direct money on Twitter, but many gain indirect power, visibility, credibility, authority. Journalists gain relevance, politicians gain dominance, CEOs gain myth. Elon Musk himself uses Twitter to shape stock prices and public perception. One tweet from him can move billions of dollars. That is not a platform. That is a financial lever. Freedom is the most debated word in this comparison. Facebook claims to protect community standards. It removes content quietly, often without explanation. Users feel controlled, but unsure by whom. This creates a sense of invisible authority. People self-censor without knowing the rules. Freedom exists, but inside invisible walls. Twitter under Musk promises freedom of speech, but absolute freedom has consequences. Hate speech, misinformation, harassment, these flourish where limits disappear. Twitter feels free, but unsafe. Loud voices dominate. Vulnerable voices retreat. So which freedom matters more, the freedom to speak or the freedom to exist without fear? Surveillance is another shadow in this story. Facebook knows where you live, who you love, what you fear, what you desire. It tracks quietly, constantly. Its data is used for ads, but it can be used for far more. Governments request it. Corporations exploit it. Facebook does not watch you directly, it predicts you. That may be more powerful than watching. Twitter knows less about your private life, but more about your public mind. Your opinions, your ideology, your alliances all visible. Twitter turns thought into permanent record. A tweet from years ago can destroy a career today. Memory on Twitter is unforgiving. Facebook forgets slowly. Twitter never forgets. In authoritarian regimes, Facebook is often allowed because it distracts. Twitter is often banned because it organizes. This alone tells us their difference in necessity. Facebook keeps people busy. Twitter makes people restless. But restlessness is not always good. Societies need stability to survive. They also need disruption to grow. Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook supports order. Elon Musk's Twitter supports chaos. History shows that too much order creates oppression, and too much chaos creates collapse. The global south depends more on Facebook. It is cheap, accessible, familiar. The global elite depends more on Twitter. It is fast, influential, visible. This creates a digital class divide. The poor connect on Facebook. The powerful speak on Twitter. Is that fair? No. Is it reality? Yes. As artificial intelligence grows, both platforms become even more dangerous and more necessary. AI-generated content will flood Facebook with emotional manipulation. AI-driven narratives will dominate Twitter debates. Truth will struggle on both. The future question is not which platform survives, but which values survive through them. Facebook teaches humanity how to live together. Twitter teaches humanity how to disagree. Without Facebook, society becomes lonely. Without Twitter, society becomes silent. Mark Zuckerberg builds systems to last. Elon Musk breaks systems to test them.
Ow.
One preserves civilization. The other challenges it and civilization. It needs both preservation and challenge. The battle between Facebook and Twitter is not a battle between two companies. It is a battle between two philosophies of power. Quiet control versus loud freedom. Emotional safety versus intellectual risk. Stability versus change. Humanity stands in the middle, scrolling, liking, tweeting often, unaware that it is living inside the greatest social experiment ever created, and the experiment continues. As the world moves toward the future, the rivalry between Facebook and Twitter is no longer about social media. It is about reality itself. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk are not competing for users anymore. They are competing to define how humans will live, think, and exist in the digital age. Mark Zuckerberg's vision stretches far beyond Facebook. To him, Facebook was only the beginning, a training ground. His true ambition is the metaverse, a persistent digital universe where identity is not just displayed, but lived. In this future, Facebook is not a website. It is a foundation, Profiles become avatars. Timelines become histories. Friends become co-presences inside virtual space. In Zuckerberg's world, necessity is built through immersion. Humans will not ask whether Facebook is needed because it will feel unavoidable like air or gravity. Meetings, education, entertainment, friendships, even economies will flow through Meta's ecosystem. The danger is subtle, but massive. When reality itself is mediated by one system, choice becomes illusion. Elon Musk sees the future differently. He does not want people to escape into virtual worlds. He wants the real world to move faster. Version of Twitter, now called X, is not meant to be social media. It is meant to be infrastructure. Messaging, payments, news, work, identity. What? Assistance all compressed into one real-time platform. In Musk's future, X becomes the nervous system of civilization. Everything happens now. There is no archive, no nostalgia-only motion. Facebook remembers. X accelerates. Artificial intelligence deepens this divide. Facebook's AI is designed to predict desire. It studies faces, language, emotions. It learns what makes people stay comfortable. Over time, it builds echo chambers so perfect that users rarely encounter discomfort. This makes life smoother, but weaker. A society that never feels challenged slowly loses critical thinking. Twitter's AI, especially under Musk, amplifies conflict, pushes controversial content because conflict creates engagement. In the future, AI-generated arguments will fight AI-generated opinions. Humans may become spectators to debates created for them. Truth will not be decided by evidence, but by momentum. So again, necessity versus danger. The metaverse promises connection, but risks captivity. X promises freedom, but risks exhaustion. Human identity is the true battlefield. On Facebook, identity is curated. People show the best versions of themselves. Over time, the gap between real self and digital self widens. This creates anxiety, but also aspiration. People become brands of themselves. On Twitter, identity is exposed. People are judged by their words, often taken out of context. A single sentence can define a lifetime. There is no safe distance between thought and consequence. Twitter makes people honest or silent. Zuckerberg believes humans want continuity. Musk believes humans want acceleration. The future economy reflects this in the metaverse. Digital property, virtual land, avatars, and experiences become assets. Facebook's world is about ownership and permanence. Once inside, leaving becomes costly. In X's ecosystem, value is speed. Payments, attention, influence all move instantly. Nothing is permanent. Everything is replaceable. Which economy is more necessary? For stability, Facebook's vision. For innovation, X's vision. Education. In Zuckerberg's future happens inside immersive environments. Children learn history by walking through simulations. Musk's future education happens through constant debate, exposure, and challenge. One teaches by experience, the other teaches by conflict. But humanity cannot live only in simulations. And it cannot survive only in arguments. Governments already sense this. They fear Meta's control over identity. They fear X's control over narrative. Some try to regulate. Others try to use both. The irony is that neither Zuckerberg nor Musk fully controls what they created. Platforms grow beyond creators. Cultures emerge. Users resist. But the frameworks remain. If the future becomes virtual, Facebook becomes essential. If the future becomes accelerated, Twitter becomes essential. But the future will likely be both. Humans will escape into virtual comfort and return to real-time chaos. Time. They will need places to belong and places to challenge power. They will need memory and momentum. Facebook will build the rooms. Twitter will start the arguments inside them. The real danger is not choosing the wrong platform. It is allowing platforms to replace human judgment. As AI grows smarter, platforms will try to think for humans. Recommend friends. Recommend beliefs. recommend reactions. At that point, necessity becomes dependency, and dependency becomes control. The final question of the future is not Facebook versus Twitter, it is, will humans still control their platforms, or will platforms control what it means to be human? In the end, the question of whether Facebook or Twitter is more necessary is not a technological question. It is a human one. Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk did not simply build platforms. They exposed truths about humanity that were always there, waiting for the right tools to surface them. Facebook reveals humanity's longing for connection. Twitter reveals humanity's hunger for voice. These are not optional desires. They are fundamental. Throughout history, civilizations survived because people bonded together and because someone dared to speak when silence became dangerous. Facebook and Twitter represent these two forces in digital form. One protects social cohesion. The other challenges social order. If Mark Zuckerberg had never created Facebook, humanity would still find ways to connect, but more slowly, more unevenly. Families would drift apart. Communities would shrink. Small voices would remain invisible. Facebook's necessity lies in scale. It takes ordinary human relationships and gives them global reach. If Elon Musk had never taken control of Twitter, humanity would still argue, but behind closed doors, filtered by institutions and gatekeepers. Twitter's necessity lies in exposure. It pulls power into the open, where it can be questioned, mocked, or destroyed. Facebook is where people live. Twitter is where people fight and societies need, both living and fighting. The mistake is believing one can replace the other. A world dominated by Facebook alone would be calm, connected, and quietly manipulated. People would feel safe, but rarely. Challenged, truth would be soft. Lies would be comfortable. Change would be slow. A world dominated by Twitter alone would be loud, restless, and unstable. If people would speak freely, but rarely listen. Truth would be sharp. Lies would be violent. Change would be constant and exhausting. So which is more necessary? Facebook is necessary for continuity. Twitter is necessary for accountability. Facebook builds the social fabric. Twitter tears holes in it to expose what lies beneath. Mark Zuckerberg represents structure. Elon Musk represents disruption. History shows that civilizations collapse without structure, and they decay without disruption. The true danger is not platforms themselves, but imbalance. When people rely too much on Facebook, they mistake familiarity for truth. When people rely too much on Twitter, they mistake popularity for wisdom. Necessity is not about numbers. It is about function. For the child learning social identity, Facebook is more necessary. For the activist challenging authority, Twitter is more necessary. For the small business building trust, Facebook is more necessary. For the journalist exposing corruption, Twitter is more necessary. Humanity does not need to choose one winner. It needs to learn how to use both without surrendering. Autonomy. Mark Zuckerberg's dream is a connected world. Elon Musk's dream is an unfiltered world. The future must combine connection with courage, comfort with confrontation, memory with momentum. The final answer is uncomfortable but honest. Facebook is necessary to keep society together. Twitter is necessary to keep society awake. One is the home. The other is the alarm, and humanity needs both a place to belong and a voice that refuses to stay quiet.